Welcome back, Mindsetters, on this lovely youth day, this Saturday morning. Make sure, guys, you get on the page, keep chatting. And again, guys, on that note, youth day, make sure you guys look it up. It's very important history. But for now, I'm going to hand back to Tamlin. Tamlin, take it away.
Thanks, Ty. Okay, let's have a look at a little bit of reduction formula. Okay, a lot of information, a lot of the stuff we learned in grade 11. In your exam, guys, you can expect this to definitely be up there in kind of one of the first sort of couple of questions of your trig paper. Okay. Right, let's have a look at reduction formula. We have got, I think, write this down, do it with me. It's worthwhile to actually go through the process. We've got sine of 90 minus x. I've got multiplied by tan of x minus 180. Okay, this is over the logo, so I hope you can see it. Sine 23, cos 23, cos 44, and sine of negative x. Okay. Right, here is our first little area of concern, okay? I'm sure you remember from grade 11 reduction formula. When we work with our Cartesian plane, quadrant 1 is going to be just theta. Quadrant 2 is our 180 minus theta. Quadrant 3, 180 plus theta. And quadrant 4 is 360 minus theta. And our good old cast diagram. Quadrant 1, all trig functions are positive. Quadrant 2 belongs to sine. That's our sine's territory. It's the positive. Sine is positive, the rest are negative. Quadrant 3 belongs to tan. Tan is positive, the rest are negative. And quadrant 4 belongs to cos. Okay. So we got to remember that, guys. And it's probably worthwhile in your exam. Quickly draw your Cartesian plane. Fill in your cast diagram so it's there in front of you and you can quickly refer back to it. Okay. But what happens when we're working with an angle of 90 degrees? So we're no longer working off your horizontal x-axis. We're actually working off your vertical y-axis, okay? Please watch out when you are in your exam. Take a highlighter and highlight that 90, okay? And the reason why is because not only are you trying to determine which quadrants it's in and whether it's positive or negative, but you are now also having to remember that the second you're working with a 90, and if it ever comes up at 270, that your sine and your cos have to change. Your sine changes to cos, and vice versa, your cos changes to sine. They are called co-functions. Okay, I hope you remember that. Right, so we have got sine of 90 minus x. Now 90 minus x, if we've got our vertical axis and we go back, if we minus x from it, that gets us into quadrant 1. So that's a nice easy place to be because everything is positive. But because of the 90, sine has to change to cos. That is really, really important. If you forget to do that, unfortunately, everything else is going to be messed up. Okay. Right, I've got tan of x minus 180. Now, if we have got our angle of x, and we minus 180 from it, okay, that is going to get us into quadrant 3, all right? And tan in quadrant 3 is positive. So we're going to reduce this to just be positive tan x, okay? Now I've got this funny little sine 23 and cos 23. Now we know that if there are special angles, we can fill them in. However, 23 is definitely not a special angle, so we've got to be careful of those two there. Okay. Right, down below, I've got a cos 44. Okay, so we've got cos 44, and again, that's not a special angle, so we've got to be just aware of how we're going to figure this one out. And we've got sine of negative x. Negative x, grade 12, is another way of referring to your fourth quadrant, okay? And sine in your fourth quadrant is negative. So that's going to become negative sine x. Okay, that step in your reduction formula sum is your most important step because if you get everything right there, the rest of it's pretty easy to do. But it's very, you've got to be careful with all the signs, the quadrants, the co-functions. There's a lot to think about there. You definitely cannot think about what you're doing on Friday night when you're busy doing this. You've got to be very focused with that. Okay, all right, so now what we have got is we've got a cos x. We've got a tan x. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change tan into sine over cos. All right. Now, grade 12s, can you see that I'm now sitting with one value that's not a fraction and one value that is a fraction, okay? It is going to make your life a lot easier to put that over 1 so that you can see what's on the top and what's on the bottom. I've got sine 23, cos 23, which right now don't really have any plans with that right now. I'm not seeing what I'm supposed to do. So let's just deal with that in a minute. Same thing for cos 44. I'm not really sitting with any kind of value for that at this stage, and negative sine x right now we're going to work with as is. Okay, so we have now got this. Can you see that that cos x and that cos x will cross cancel each other? Great, that's gone. Okay, because everything is being multiplied, you are allowed to cancel top with bottom. Okay, now that works quite nicely for me because that sine x then will cancel with that sine x, but please don't forget that that minus is still there. That has not disappeared. Okay, so let's now take stock of what we've got. I've got sine 23 cos 23. And I've got cos 44, which I'm going to do something with. I'm going to change cos 44 into 2 cos 22. Okay? Let's see if that helps us. Okay, if I do this, I hope what you're seeing over here is that it's looking like the sine double angle. I've got sine 23 cos 23. What I'm missing, unfortunately, is that I'm missing a 2 in front of it. But like anything with any fraction, what you do to the top, you do to the bottom, you're going to find that you're allowed to do that, okay? So if I multiplied a 2 in front of that value over there, as long as what I do to the top, I do to the bottom, I'm actually in safe territory there. I'm allowed to do that, okay? Now, by putting the 2 in front, that converts it to an identity of sine 223, okay? I'm actually going to put this back as sine 44, and I'll show you now why. Right, if I take 2 times 23, that's giving me sine of 46 over 2 cos 44. This is such an important thing to remember, especially because you're not working with special angles. You don't have the option of using a calculator, and we don't know offhand what sine 46 and sine 44 is. So this is what you are going to do. Take 46 and add 44 to it. What do you get? We should be getting 90, okay? And remember, sine of theta is equal to cos of 90 minus theta. So what we know is that sine of 46 is equal to cos of 90 minus 46, which is 44. So, wonderful, they cancel each other out. And that leaves us with a half. So watch out for that. It's something that comes up pretty often, and it's actually quite easy to work out if you know how to. Okay.
All right, thank you so much, Tamlin. So guys, make sure you guys always check on the page, always refer to the page, and guys, make sure you can chat to each other, make sure you talk to each other on the page because it's so important. And guys, there is going to be another Saturday session next week, so make sure you tune in for that one. But guys, from me, I'm going to say see you next time.